What is up, boxing fans? What is up, Fight Hype family? We are back at it live, chilling in the office here in Las Vegas, Nevada, watching the Showtime Championship boxing card tonight, the PBC on Showtime card. And jumping right into it in the second round of the co-main event, the former champion of the unified champion of the division, not quite the champion. I think Jermell Charlo has long been considered the top dog, even when he was just holding that one WBC belt. And Jason Rosario had the WBA and the IBF. But anyways, Jason Rosario in the ring with Brian La Bala Mendoza, talented Cuban-American kid, 20 wins, 2 losses, trains out here with Ismael Salas, one of the top trainers of the sport, trains out here in Las Vegas, and getting a chance to vault himself really into the top echelon of the 154s if he could beat a former champion in Jason Rosario here in the second round. But just as I say that, Rosario getting warned for hitting on the break with a nice 4-3 combination, right uppercut, left hook, hitting Brian Mendoza. But Mendoza's landed some big shots in here. It's been a lot of big shots landed by both guys. Oh, and down goes Jason Rosario on a left hook to the body. Delayed reaction. Brian Mendoza dropping Jason Rosario with a left hook to the body. Rosario actually returned fire with a left hook to Mendoza's head, but that left hook to the body put him down here in the second round. Rosario, never been the most durable guy. Can punch, is tall, but doesn't take the best durability-wise. And now Mendoza trying to finish to the body. 2 right hands to the body, hard. And Rosario wisely ties up. Just about 25 seconds left in the second round in Minnesota. Mendoza really investing to the body after dropping Rosario there. He's thrown about 3 or 4 right hands there. Now a left hook to the body again for Brian Mendoza. Rosario along the ropes eats 2 body shots again, a left hook and a sweeping right hand to the body. But he ties up. 5 seconds left. He'll make it out of this second round. In this 154 scrap, a big round for Brian Mendoza, who on paper might be an underdog because Rosario's the former champion here and Mendoza is not. But Rosario has been knocked out by Jermell Charlo. Believe he was knocked out by Nate Gallimore, who opened up the fights tonight, of the telecast. Swavey04, let's get it. What's up, Swavey? You're all I got right now, Swavey. Until we get joined by others, but thank you. Let's look at this replay. Beautiful left hook to the body by Brian Mendoza. Little bit of a delayed reaction right there by Jason Rosario, who came back with his own left hook after eating that hook to the body. But nice job catching it by Brian Mendoza. Yep, big moment for Brian Mendoza here. Rosario has been knocked out a couple times, probably more long in the tooth than Brian Mendoza is. So, where's the fight, ESPN? What's up, Chile? What's up, Gustavo? Oh, good to see you again, Gustavo Fontalba. I know I've had you a number of times, brother. Good to see you. On Showtime tonight. Fights are on Showtime. Rosario looking like a glass cannon, Sean. Yeah, that's what he's always been. DeAndre C, shout out, man. Yeah, that's what he's always been. He's a tall guy, throws combinations, good offensive fighter, fun guy to watch, solid power, but been a guy who's been knocked out a couple times by Charlo and Nate Gallimore, and down already early tonight against Brian Mendoza. But good action in this fight early on. Mendoza doing a great job reaching down with his hooks to the body with both hands. And Ismael Salas, if Mendoza can win this fight, continues to show why he's one of the best trainers in the game. Mendoza taking little steps back, drawing in, feigning, lowering his lead hand to his waist, but then falling in the clinch. Now he throws 3 body shots up close after that clinch and resets, takes back in the center of the ring. Rosario trying to step to Mendoza, but he walks into a left hook to the body. Now he eats a left hook up top as Mendoza's back was along the ropes. But nice hook off the ropes for Mendoza there. Rosario trying to run his hands in combination, and Mendoza keeping his hands up there. Good. Now he shoots a right uppercut in the center of the ring and clinches Rosario right after to smother him. Nice right uppercut, center of the ring. Kind of an athletic move there by Brian Mendoza. Rosario getting a nice left hook to the body, and after missing the right uppercut, left hook, always a beautiful shot to clean up with after missing an uppercut. Some good body work by Brian Mendoza in the center of the ring as Rosario tries to close distance there. Oh, good right uppercut by Jason Rosario, and then he finishes up to the body with a right hand. He putting the pressure on Brian Mendoza now, following up with a 1-2, and Mendoza's near the ropes. Rosario determined to come forward and get some get back after getting dropped, and walking through some good body work from Brian Mendoza and getting off with some hard shots up top this round in the third. Another left hook to the body by Brian Mendoza, but Rosario walks through it, gets through a stiff jab through the guard, and tees off with combinations. Mendoza just forced to cover up there. So, Gustavo saying, oh, Swavey, I'm still reminiscing on the body shot Charlo knocked Rosario out with. Yeah, that was what, during the pandemic? The jab to the body, and made him kind of seizure on the ground. That was a good third round. Rosario finished strong. Brian Mendoza fought a better first half of that round. Really got off some hard body shots, hard left hook with his back on the ropes. But Rosario, pretty relentless down the stretch of that round. Drove Mendoza back, and got off some good combinations there too. So good third round. What I think about Bivol's win over Zurdo, I feel like I feel like Bivol, and I'll get to this tomorrow too when we do the Z-Cap, when we get to covering all the fights here on the replay. Beautiful right uppercut by Jason Rosario on the replays on Showtime. But I feel like the old phrase is a champion gets 50% better after he wins the title. And obviously, Bivol already was a world champion before fighting Canelo. But that phrase was uttered when there was only one champion. And there's four, there's 4 belts in every weight class now. So, yeah, he was already a world champion. But I think the phrase fits more for what Bivol's done in beating Canelo. Once you become champion, you get 50% better. Since beating Canelo, he kind of looked, I don't know about 50, he looked significantly better tonight than ever before, in part because of his mentality. He fought with a certain confidence and intensity and ferocity that we haven't seen from him since he was a prospect on Showbox and in his early fights on HBO. Once he started to face the best of the best in his division, he became so much more cerebral and a boxer, and he really drifted away from what he was early on. And that happens as you face better fighters, and his smarts allowed him to face better fighters and to think in there and to box. But after beating Canelo, he's mixed in all that craft he has, the great fundamentals, keeping everything tight, fast hands at 175, the jab, being such a sharpshooter through the center, compact shots, really good guard. And he's taken all that and he's mixed it in going forward now at the highest level. We never seen him fight that aggressively at the top world level until what he did earlier today. And he also mixed in a great left hook. He 1-2'd Zurdo to death, but those 1-2s were thrown with a certain intent and purpose that we haven't always seen from Bivol. And it kind of reminds me how Lomachenko looked against Nakatani in June of last year. There was a certain intent to the way he was letting his shots go and an edge to him that night, and Bivol had that tonight. And I think he'll keep it with him going forward, unlike Lomachenko, where that was just an aberration of some spite he had carrying into the ring after getting beat by Teofimo Lopez. So, he brought out the left hook beautifully tonight, and his power looked really good. And he really got better after beating Canelo, it looks like to me, and he is 2022's Fighter of the Year, for sure, Dimitri Bivol. So that's definitely my thought. And I'll follow up with that some more tomorrow morning on our Z-Cap. But right now, Jason Rosario is starting to not take no for an answer offensively there, walking through whatever's coming back from Brian Mendoza, but pushing him back repeatedly into the ropes and starting to knock his head up with some hard shots. Oh, nice left hook by Brian Mendoza, but Jason Rosario's making it the kind of fight where he's either going to start to break down Brian Mendoza or he's going to get knocked out and walk into some huge shots. But he is making this fun to watch. Mendoza continues to invest with that left hook to the body. Hard right uppercut on the inside by Jason Rosario, though. He has busted Mendoza up this round with some hard shots. Now 2 jabs land cleanly for Brian Mendoza, trying to get some distance from this relentless Jason Rosario, and that ends round 4. Mendoza has that knockdown going for him in the second, but Rosario's eating shots, but he's really letting go of his combinations and nailing Mendoza repeatedly too. Let's see the replays here by Showtime. Straight right hand down the pipe, landing for Jason Rosario. Nice little shoulder roll, shoots the straight right hand, misses it, and eats a check left hook from Brian Mendoza in that exchange. So good action in Showtime. I see a Drake Bell comment with a crying. My phone is down, and I just look in the corner of my eye, and I was like, Drake Bell. So yes, Alberto S. Drake Bell. Pat G. Yo, Sean, what did I think of Fyodor Chisurkin? He dominated Gallimore easily. Chisurkin looked good, but Gallimore's a guy who's been beaten by a number of guys at this point, and I still saw him, when he used it early in the fight, effective with his jab. The right hand was there. He didn't let it go as often, maybe as people wanted. His trainer just kept telling him, let your hands go, let your hands go. He's got to get better instructions than that. But, there was still a lot of openings there for Nate Gallimore. And he still was effective with his jab early in the fight. Not Chisurkin, up-and-coming guy, undefeated. Tall, huge right uppercut. Just drops Jason Rosario. Ooh! What a right uppercut. That's a shot you dream of. Rosario is out. That's it. Tries to make it to his feet, makes it halfway up, and he crumples. His body crumples down, and the ref's not going to let that continue. What a 5th round right uppercut knockout by Brian Mendoza. He, like I said, Rosario was making it the kind of fight where he was either going to keep getting to him and break him down, or he was going to walk into some huge shots. And there you have it. He walks into a huge right uppercut. Athletic stuff by Brian Mendoza, and Ismael Salas continues to show what a top trainer he is. Nothing but respect being shown in the corner by both guys now. But Brian Mendoza's always been a kid who's looked the part. If you watch him in the gym, he's got a great physique. He's athletic. He's a nice kid. Cuban American kid with really good physical talent. But at 15-0, lost his first fight, dropped another fight, but he gets his opportunities. He aligns with Salas, who seems to now be tapping into what potential he has and bringing it out. But beautiful knockout here, beautiful right uppercut knockout that if you're not watching now at home, you'll see it probably on Twitter. That was good stuff by Brian Mendoza. I know I was in the middle of talking about something else. Weedy Gonzalez, what's up, man? Who's Mendoza? Weedy. Talented kid out here in Vegas. Cuban-American kid that was 15-0, looked the part, has talent, has physical talent, has pop in both hands, can move around, has some athleticism, but never put it together, came up short a little bit. So then he gets with Ismael Salas, one of the top guys in the game. And, and Rosario just walked right into that right uppercut. He was walking in, hands high, ate a jab. The jab gave Mendoza the range he needed, and he fired the right uppercut right after landing that jab, and it was on the mark, on the money, and that was it. Beautiful shot by Brian Mendoza. But, yeah, just basically Weedy, a kid that's always shown and looked the part. If you watch him spar in Vegas, if you interview him out here, but fell short. But now Ismael Salas is getting it out of him. And with this knockout of Rosario, he's headed towards legit fights at 54 now. Big win for Brian Mendoza. Because he's at the kind of age and with the kind of record, 20-2, if you lose this fight, you got to start thinking of what else you're going to do with your life, as a professionally. So he keeps himself in the ball game, in the title hunt. He gets into a title hunt a little bit, but with this knocking out a former champion in Jason Rosario. And by the way, I've interviewed Brian a lot of times out here in Vegas. He's a great kid. We got some interviews with him up on the channel, but he's a great kid. He helped Ugas get ready for when Ugas fought Pacquiao and fought Errol Spence. So let's see. Who do I think? What's up, Indori, Justin? Pernito, what's up, brother? I would say, who's gonna win the main event, Aidos or Morrell? I'm gonna go Morrell, naturally bigger guy. Just in Aidos, I saw him early in his career. I gotta be honest, I haven't watched Aidos in a couple of years now. But 2018, 2019, when Aidos first came to the zone, I covered him. I covered him when he fought in Chicago, when Jesse Vargas and Thomas Delorme fought. I covered him another time as well, but I seen him fight more early in his career, and knowing that he won the gold medal and all the hype coming from the amateurs, and he never blew me away. David Morrell, early in his career, has at times blown me away, at least definitely more than Aidos. So I'm expecting, and then he's a natural 68, and Aidos, when I covered him a couple years back, was a middleweight. So he's coming up. I got David Morrell in this fight. He's been drawing really good crowds at the Armory out there in Minneapolis. It's sold out there tonight, it looks like. He's got momentum there. His manager, Louis de Cubas, who is definitely the GOAT of Cuban managers in the United States. He brought Casamayor and Rigondeaux and Lara, and may have brought Luis Ortiz too, but brought a number of guys from Cuba, and he thinks that Morrell is the best one yet that he's gotten. So we'll see. Weedy Gonzalez said, thank you for that. That's why I like your commentary. You have the inside tracks. I know you see a lot of these guys more than I can. Yeah, no doubt, Weedy. Thank you for being in the chat again. I know you were in earlier for Bivol and Ramirez, so appreciate you, brother. DeAndre C. going ahead and letting me know the fight was supposedly at 60. No surprise there. You know, these guys aren't always going to boil down to the weight class if it's not a title eliminator or a ranking fight or obviously a title fight. But I do know that Mendoza will be a 54-pounder when it comes to trying to get a title fight. He might find less stiff competition, less dogs at the park, right? Because there is no way to a world title, DeAndre, unless you're going to fight Jermell. And, you know, he's firing on all cylinders right now on his way to cementing a Hall of Fame portfolio at 154 is Jermell Charlo. So you might be right. 160 is very barren talent-wise. You know, Golovkin has 2 belts, but he's definitely got 1 foot well out the door. And Jermall, yeah, Brian Mendoza could line up at some point, get a fight with Jermall Charlo, or when the WBA and the IBF become vacant, he get his hands on those. But Janibek over on the ESPN Top Rank side of things has the WBO, but those IBF and WBA titles got to become vacant at some point, but those 2 sanctioning organizations aren't going to want to let go of those belts until they get a sweet 3% of whatever Triple G's doing next. They're going to give Triple G every opportunity to defend those 2 belts again because he can still draw a fat purse. But let me see here. He said, thank you, Mississippi. Instant heel turn by Mendoza. He doesn't know. He's a Las Vegas kid. You don't know. He said his first time. You know what? Let me get the hell off this delay. I'm going to refresh my stream because you guys saw that before I did. Hold on. Bang. I'm back. So, thank you, Metal Hendrix. Appreciate that. Everybody wants Charlo. They think they do. Look, Charlo, again, to me, Charlo had Jermell Charlo had the performance of the year against Brian Castano. I might be really corny around Christmas time and like put on a Santa Claus hat and have my year-end Christmas awards where we hand out Fight of the Year and Fighter of the Year, and I'm like, ho, ho, ho. Oh, Merry Christmas. Who is the Fighter of the Year? Dimitri Bivol. You know, I don't know. But if we're giving out who had the best performance of 2022, I know a lot of you would say Bam against Soren Visai, but what Jermell did was for Undisputed, and he really put together a beautiful, beautiful vintage, 1980s style boxer puncher performance against Brian Castano. It was beautiful. The way he fought off the ropes in that fight, and the just everything. A kind of quintessential boxer-puncher performance by Jermell Charlo. My favorite style of all the styles, boxer-puncher. So, yeah. Let me see here. What's next for Zurdo? Does he move up to cruiserweight? I'm not sure, man. And I know you guys got the Porterway podcast questions, man. I'll talk about that again at another time. But just know, love those guys, love the show, and everything's copacetic there. So talk more about it at another time. But appreciate the questions about it, because I know you got a lot of you guys ask each time. What channel is this on? Gino, it's on Showtime. David Morrell warming up with Ronnie Shields, who also trains Jermell Charlo. It is Mr. Eyebrows again, but they're not what they once were. Bam hasn't fought nobody. No, Soren Visai and Carlos Cuadras. Aging guys, if you want to say that, that's okay. If you want to say that their peak is behind them, that's true. But Soren Visai and Cuadras are great wins. Bam definitely deserves an honorable mention for Fighter of the Year. I just think it's definitely Bivol. But Bam had one of the top 3 or 4 years any fighter had in boxing this year. So let's not slight Bam. Let me see. Do I box? Victor saying, do I box? Just wondering. I love your passion, interest for sport. Thank you, Victor. I did box. 2006, 2007, I had my 3 amateur fights. I won 2, I lost 1. And it was funny because I thought I won that fight too. And then my friend had a tape of it at the time, and I watched it. And, being in there, you still think you won. But then when I watched it, I saw why the judges gave it to him. And I understood now why anytime a fighter's in a close fight, they not only think they won, they thought they, dominated. Because I could have swore it was easy work, and then I watched the footage, and I was like, "Oh, I get why I didn't get the decision." But yeah, I had a couple fights back in the days here at Barry's Boxing. Augie Sanchez being the trainer, Pat Barry being the trainer who owned the gym too, along with his wife. So let me see here. Since we're talking about him, says DeAndre C. I don't know why I don't see Jermell Charlo on any pound-for-pound list, Sean. It's a travesty. There's others that should be on there too. Well, DeAndre, let me know which others you think should be on there. Let me know which other ones you should be on there. But Jermell, why wouldn't he be on the pound-for-pound list? I think they look at the competition at 154 not as stiff as it is at other weight classes, I guess. They don't rate guys like Rosario too highly. For example, Rosario, Austin Trout gave Jermell a tough fight when it looked like he was supposed to be past it, and he gave Jermell a tough 12 rounds. He drops a fight to Tony Harrison, who outside of beating Jermell hasn't beaten any elite fighters. He loses in his other step-up fights. So they're trying to take away from the level of competition that it's taken to become undisputed at 54, but I don't feed into that. To me, Jermell is clearly at this point a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. He's one of the fighters over the last 5 years that's gotten better and better and better. I think he grew as a fighter and as a man even to another level after winning that rematch with Harrison. I think the mental torment Tony Harrison put him through for a year, rubbing so much salt in the wound after upsetting him, and Jermell having to stomach that for a year and eventually knock him out in a rematch. I think ever since that rematch with Harrison, Jermell's been a pound-for-pound elite guy. So I'm with you, DeAndre. I think Jermell is a pound-for-pound top 10 fighter. But to explain why he's not on there, I think some of them try to take away from the level of competition he's gone through at 154. Let me see here. Adrata Castaño said Weedy Gonzalez. And really, a lot of people thought he lost that fight. Let me fix my hair a little bit, fellas. A lot of people thought I made it worse. But anyway, a lot of people thought he lost that fight to Brian Castaño. And he was fortunate to get a draw. When I went back and scored that fight heading into the rematch, I had Castaño winning 116, 112. But Jermell Charlo pulled what Ward did in the rematch with Kovalev. He came back twice the fighter he did in the first fight and knocked him out, and put an end to it. So credit to him for that. That was my favorite performance of 2022. But we're getting ready for David Morrell and Yerbos. We're just going to call him Yerbos. We're going to call him Yerbossynuly. It's a tough name, man. It's a tough name from Kazakhstan to pronounce. We got Janibek Alimkhanallah. Got that one down from Kazakhstan. We got down Gennady Golovkin, obviously. Gennadyevich Golovkin. But Aidos Yerbossynully. We're just going to go Yerbos. We're just going to go Yerbos against David Morrell. Keep things good. Pat G, Derek James evolved Jermell Charlo a lot. Indeed, he did. Jermell Charlo had like a 50% knockout ratio before he got to Derek James. And since he's been with Derek, I think it's like 70 to 80%. And that's fighting tougher competition than before he got Jermell. So what Jermell's done, or what Derek James did with Jermell is nothing short of a great job. So... Fila asking, do I rate Robeisy Ramirez? I do. Robeisy's a good fighter at featherweight. That's a tough fight for Navarrete. But it sounds like Navarrete is going to go ahead and fight Oscar Valdez. By the way, your boss looks like he's rocking... Guys, help me out in the chat. He's rocking the fur head that we see some of those fighters from... It's not blonde like they have it, but this looks really similar what he's coming into the ring in. What the Dagestanian fighters like Arthur Beterbiev and Habib Nurmagomedov, Butayev, the welterweight Butayev, they come in. What is that called, guys? With like the blonde, big, furry wig. He's coming in with a black one, is Yerbos. But here comes Aidos Yerbossynully. Again, that's short for his full name. Tough name to pronounce for me tonight, so we're just going to call him Yerbos. And he is the gold medalist, undefeated. Got some good money from DAZN when they launched back in 2018, but wasn't able to take off. Wasn't able to get big fights at 160 with guys like Bubu Andrade and Gennady Golovkin. So he's up at 168 pounds here on Showtime on PBC, facing one of the hottest young fighters, especially in terms of 10 or less fights. David Morrell has been moved on such a fast track to get him up there with the elite guys like Benavidez and Plant, and a good step-up fight for both guys in the pro ranks. Morrell having to take on a former gold medalist in Yerbossynuly, your boss. But Adrian E. said, what's your opinion on Spence and Crawford? Do you think it's happening, and whose version are you leaning towards? I do think that's a tough one. I'll get to that tomorrow morning, but I think there's animosity there on Crawford's side for, his perception based on plenty of real quotes like wrong side of the street, that he was frozen out of that fight for years. And now that it is time to make the fight with PBC, seems like he has animus towards making it. Found himself another deal, and the particulars of the $25 million guarantees. You don't know if that comes with strings attached to Kinahan, who used to advise him, maybe still advise him now. But I understand, money's money, but this is the kind of guy where if the money's attached to him, it doesn't matter how much money you make that night. It could get seized by the government anyways or something, and you get in trouble. But it's a tough situation to talk about. But I'm not directly on either fighter's side, really. I think they both, when big fights can't happen for the most, all parties got to get some blame. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. David Morrell in the ring now. Let's see. Yeah, DeAndre repping his culture. Mexican wears sombreros. Pat G saying it might be tough for Morrell this time. It is a step-up fight. Weedy Gonzalez says he thinks people are sleeping on Aidos tonight. Let me see here. Three Pumps saying Bud full of bullshit. I mean, I wouldn't say that. He has a right to hold some animus, honestly. And I know people wouldn't like. I know people in the business that wouldn't like me for saying that. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a sport. And if practically everyone in the game is looking at you as number one versus number two, what happens in other sports when it's clearly number one versus number two? At some point, within a time frame before 4 full years, those two teams square off. And if that's not to happen because of politics, because you're on the, quote, wrong side of the street, you know, you're right to feel like that's some bullshit, even though boxing is different than those other sports. Much different. But essentially, the name of the game is still sport. And I love Deontay Wilder, and I understand he's the fighter. So I understand when he says it's a business, not a sport. But for us, it's a sport, you know, the observer. So if it's a sport, there's got to be some integrity there on number one versus number two across the board. And it shouldn't take 3 to 4 years for that to happen. So Crawford, if he holds some, I mean, I'm putting words in his mouth. That he may not feel any of that and may be on some different shit completely and just doesn't want to take the deal for reasons I have no idea for. But I'm not just going to push everything on Crawford because now all of a sudden he's holding up the fight when, you know, out of Spence's own mouth, he's been happy to push the fight down the road. So now that it's Crawford pushing the fight down the road, I can't just dogpile on him. He's doing to them what they did to him before. So it's not right either way, in my opinion. Where's Bud getting 25 from? Good question. I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with Kinahan, just to be honest. Wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know that. It's all speculation. But him not wanting to divulge where that comes from, which, okay, if you don't want me to know that, that's fine. But Errol Spence has to know that. He has to know that information. Him not wanting to reveal that leads to speculation, to something like saying it could be Kinahan, who was his advisor, you know. So, and that's his business and everything. But the reality is, if I'm Errol Spence, I need to know that, because if it is coming from him, good chance it gets seized from me anyways, and I'm in trouble because the government already put a do not fuck with this guy memo to everyone on the planet. So that matters. But if it's $25 million from Warren Buffett, and even if it's on a fringe platform like BLK Prime, and, you know, I'm not picking on BLK Prime, but for the time being, it is a fringe platform, and the money's green and it's guaranteed, and you want to criticize Errol that it's not from some illicit thing that he could get caught up if he takes that money, and you want, then fine. But we don't know that information. We don't know where that money was coming from. And okay, if we don't know, but Errol has to know, and he wasn't willing to reveal that to Errol Spence. So, 3 Pump says, so Bud is full of BS then. I get your point. Perhaps he is full of BS this time. But, you know, he was frozen out for a little while. So now if he wants to drag his feet, I don't know if I can torch him for that necessarily, you know. Let's see. Bud is, man, we're getting some Bud. We're getting the heat for Bud in the chat. Bud is finally his own boss and isn't capable of making the biggest fight of his career. Maybe Bud just wanted to tune up before fighting Spence, says Swavy04. I hear you. Hasn't fought in a year. Sean, give me your take on why Inoue is rated 2 pound for pound and Haney is not on the list. I'm curious. I don't know. I think I don't know. I think, again, like with Jermell Charlo, I got Haney on my top 10 pound guy. My hair looks terrible. I just got a cut today, by the way. So yeah, but I got Haney on my pound for pound and Jermell Charlo. And why is Inoue that high? Because he's just spectacular. Like, he's just the most explosive fighter in the game today. So I'm okay with Inoue being that high, even though if you want to say his best wins against an old Daenerys. So I think Haney is top 10 pound for pound, but I have no problem with Inoue being that high. He's just a special fighter at bantamweight. So, all right, round one, Morrell and Aidos. Aidos, shorter guy, looking to cut distance early on, gets Morrell to the ropes. Morrell throwing a nice left hand and a right hand off the ropes, straight left, and then cuffing with the right hand. Now he throws two jabs, one to the body, one to the head. Aidos coming back with a jab up top. Aidos feinting, coming forward, keeping his high guard. Morrell out of the high guard too. Now he steps forward to get in the center of the ring with Aidos. Good jab by David Morrell. Jabbing over the top of Aidos' jab. And it's clear David Morrell is the natural 168-pounder in there. Aidos looking like a blown-up middleweight. Good body shots by Aidos, though. He steps in with a right hand, straight right hand, and then bangs with the left hook to the body against David Morrell. But Morrell just more cut up, physically stronger, just looks like the better athlete at 168. Good jab by David Morrell. Two long jabs by David Morrell. Winning the battle of the jab. Now two straight lefts through the center of Aidos' guard. We've seen David Morrell use that before. Letting go of two crosses at a time. Doubling up on it. In the center of the ring. Good stuff by David Morrell there. Nice jab again by David Morrell. Sets up a hard right hook to the body. Morrell shooting that 1-2 up top, and it set up a beautiful right hook to the body. Good jab to the body by Aidos. Another jab to the body, but getting the jab blocked up top. And now Morrell coming back explosive with a 1-2-3 and a left hand after it. Four-punch combination. Right uppercut. Buzzes Aidos. Straight left hand set up a beautiful right uppercut through the guard for David Morrell. Now Aidos steps inside, lands a hard body shot, but he eats a right uppercut for doing it. Beautiful double right uppercut from the southpaw David Morrell. Right uppercut to the body and right uppercut up top. Lifts up the chin of Aidos. Now he's imposing with his jab. Jabbing over the top of Aidos' jab. Hard right hook to the body of Aidos. Lands for David Morrell. Kid is looking really good here in the first round. Talented and offensively explosive. Morrell just the bigger guy in there. You could definitely tell it's a 60-pounder against a 68. Morrell showing good footwork. Stepping out of range now. Stepping off to the left. Backing off to the right. Comes back with a 1-2-1 combination, finishing up with the jab. And he's throwing that jab with good conviction in there, turning it over, not pawing with it in round one. 10 seconds left, been a good round for David Morrell. He busted up Aidos with some good shots. Aidos got in some good body work as well, but couldn't bring his punch, couldn't finish up to the head. And his face is already reddened by some good power shots. Let's look at the replay here on Showtime. Beautiful right hook to the body by David Morrell. And then he brings the right uppercut in right after it. Beautiful, beautiful job. Love it when fighters work that lead hand twice when they double it up. Body head. And that's what David Morrell did there. Yeah, Morrell looking very sharp, says DeAndre C. G. Brown, Morrell is on fire. I agree. Weedy Gonzalez, do I think Haney Loma's going to happen? I do. Although I don't like that talk of Lomachenko needing another fight. Devin Haney, with the way he cuts down to 35, doesn't have time for that. I don't think Devin's going to go for that. I think if Lomachenko's not going to jump right into the fight, I think Devin's not going to take another fight at 35 if it's not Loma. And I don't think Top Rank's ready to do Stevenson and Haney just yet either. So, but I do think ultimately, if that's what Lomachenko's faced with, either you take the fight now or you don't get it, he'll take it. And Haney will win that fight. So here we go in round two. Aidos looking to put the pressure on. Got to cut the distance against the naturally bigger, more athletic, younger David Morrell, who looked really good in round one. Good left hook to the body by Aidos. Aidos got some good body work in round one. Another left hook to the body. Morrell blocking what's up top, so Aidos is finishing off his combinations to the body well. Headshots getting blocked, but he has been effective to the body early on. There's a look in Aidos' eyes that he knows now he's in with a daunting challenge tonight. He's in with a guy who's naturally bigger than him, younger than him, and more athletic than him. But Aidos, with his pedigree, undefeated record, you're going to have to beat it out of him. Beautiful right hook to the body and a left hook. Now a good right hand on the inside by Aidos. Aidos throwing some nice, good head movement by David Morrell on the inside. More beautiful head movement by David Morrell, showing off some flashy upper body movement and athleticism. But Aidos is off to a good start here in the second round, though. He's worked well on the inside where he needs to be. Morrell throwing Aidos into the ropes there. Referee warning him, don't dip his head down. Morrell for the first time there, bringing that lead hand low by the waist. Maybe this pace, forcing the young fighter to put the hands down a little bit there. Nice little right hook on the inside there by David Morrell in the clinch. Aidos trying to cut distance, falls short with the right to the body, eats a hard jab, and eats a little left hand after eating that jab. Morrell switching the footwork on him, left to right to left. Now he plants his feet, shoots a straight left, shoots a jab. Aidos bleeding from the nose. Aidos getting to the body but can't hit the slippery Morrell up top. Minute left in the round, competitive round. Good body work by Aidos, moving his head on the inside, digging to the body again. Good left hook to the body for Aidos. Slipping what's coming back, but he eats a short left hand on the inside. Double jab, triple jab by David Morrell. Beautiful right uppercut on the inside by David Morrell, set up by a right hook to the body. Aidos kept the elbows in, but he had to eat the uppercut for blocking the body shot. Short left hand sweeping by David Morrell on the inside. Morrell, despite the longer arms and taller frame, fighting well on the inside against a very good Aidos on the inside. Knows how to handle himself in there. So Morrell doing a good job for being the taller guy. Good jab. Morrell stepping back beautifully 2 or 3 times and walked Aidos beautifully into a jab. Now, a beautiful brick hand, left hand down the pipe. About 10 seconds left in the round for David Morrell. Morrell showing it all. Offense to defense, defense to offense. Exciting style, fighting on the inside, landing bombs at long range against the shorter guy. Very impressive, exciting stuff for David Morrell, as usual, early in his career. Good stuff for David Morrell. Too quick, too fresh, says Pat G. Well said. Tony Weeks, one of my favorite refs. I've always loved Tony, too. He reffed that Corrales-Castillo fight. Who could forget that? Nasir Ahmed, what channel is this on in the UK? I'm not sure, brother. It's on Showtime in the States. Morrell got some quick hands first time watching him. He does, Weedy, and he's a big kid. Big kid with quick hands. Can pivot off. Got good feet. Got good power, good speed. You can see why Louis DeCubas is so giddy about this kid. Even at ringside, I see Louis DeCubas being so giddy about him. He really thinks he's got something with this kid, and he does. He does. This kid is good. Got to see how he takes a shot at some point. And this was a very, very good job by Louis DeCubas. This is very intelligent matchmaking in terms of a step up. It's a good, experienced, undefeated guy with a great pedigree, but he's little. And that's smart, when your guy's on the step up. All right, now, Morrell showing the legs to start round 3, stepping off to his right, stepping off to his left, and he steps in with a 1-2. Those 1-2s not as sharp down the pipe yet as, say, a Dimitri Bivol like we saw earlier, but Morrell with a more versatile punch arsenal than Bivol. Goes to the body more than a Dimitri Bivol and can hit you with uppercuts. Bivol not known for his uppercut. Mainly a 1-2 fighter with a good left hook now. So nice looping left hand down the pipe there by David Morrell as Aidos trying to walk in. Good jab by... David Morrell sets up a left hand and then he pivots his right hand out to the outside of Aidos' foot and lands a beautiful right uppercut that lifts his head up. Beautiful uppercuts, right uppercuts by David Morrell, and he sets him up off that touch to the body or the hook to the body. Makes your elbows come in tight, then he brings the uppercut in behind it beautifully. Aidos with Morrell on the ropes, but Morrell setting a nice trap, walked him into a beautiful left cross down the pipe. Ties him up in the center of the ring. Morrell in control of this fight, putting on a good performance. Aidos getting out of the way of a straight left, and he counters with a right hand, catching David Morrell there a little bit. Aidos still showing his class and his craft in this fight, bleeding badly from the nose, but he's showing some good work in there. Nice jab to the body by Aidos. Can't land much up top, but he's had some beautiful body work. And if you got the boxing eye, you can see Aidos has done some good stuff in there. But a little overmatched early on against a big, strong, athletic kid in Morrell. But nice body work again by Aidos. Throwing that 1-2 up top, sets up a nice left hook to the body. Oh, nice left hook by Aidos as he eats a left uppercut. Now Morrell shifts his feet over and lands a right uppercut. Really good exchanges by both fighters. Morrell getting the better of him, though. But Aidos, tough customer, showing some good skills and some good offense in there as well. Don't get me wrong. .30 seconds left in the round. Morrell winning this round, but Aidos has had some really nice work to the body in this round and even landed a nice left hook in close up top when Morrell landed with his uppercut. Beautiful step off to the side by Morrell, and then a left uppercut, right hook. Then he dips his head back athletically, comes back with a looping left hand. Beautiful stuff by David Morrell. Morrell not as fundamentally sound as a Dimitri Bivol, for example, to compare him again, but has this athletic talent that he can do some unique improvisational things on the fly that you won't see from a guy like Bivol, who keeps everything very fundamentally sound and tight. If you were to give David Morrell the fundamentals of a Dimitri Bivol to go with some of the creative stuff he does with his feet and offensively and his athletic talent, you'd have a real pound-for-pound star. So, but Morrell looking good through three. 3-zip David Morrell. No, Swavey04 saying he should not fight Benavidez next. No. He's not ready for that. Not quite. But he's getting there. He's getting there. He took a good left hook there on the replays from Showtime. Got back an even better right uppercut, though, and then ducked underneath the left hook he got hit with just a second before. Didn't get hit with it a second time. Dipped underneath it after returning fire with the right uppercut on that replay for David Morrell. So round 4, David Morrell looking really good in his step-up fight so far. Aidos, a tough customer, trying to walk down the naturally bigger guy. Oh, he walked into a hard, again, getting to the body well against David Morrell, but he paid for it with a left uppercut, right hook combination by David Morrell. Morrell fighting well on the inside, and that's where he's getting the most schooling tonight, despite being in firm control and battering Aidos with some beautiful combinations of power shots to the body and to the head. But he is getting a crash course in getting a good schooling in inside fighting, still learning a lot in there. Aidos really knows how to handle himself in there, and it's making a tall, athletic kid have to learn how to really fight on the inside there well. And I think that's where Morrell's going to learn the most from in this fight, is how to fight on the inside. Great head movement by David Morrell right now. 2 left hooks to the body land for Aidos, but can't land a thing up top, and his face is coming undone, turning into meat. Bleeding badly from the nose, and the cheeks are swelling up. Hard jab by David Morrell. Morrell has busted up Aidos this round with some hard uppercuts and straight left hands. Landed a 4-3. Good body shots by Aidos. Morrell saying that they were low. Comes back with a 1-2 down the pipe. Morrell still doesn't throw that 1-2 down the pipe as sharp as, say, perfect like a Bivol, but like I said, a more creative offense and more athleticism with the upper body movement. But Morrell getting away with his athleticism there. He dropped his hands down at his waist, walked straight back, but got away with it because he dipped his head out of the way, fell back into the ropes, and then into the clinch. Minute left in the 4th. Morrell on his way to another round of winning it on this card, easy. Long jab for David Morrell, another long jab, hard jab. Landed hard on Aidos there. Nice left uppercut on the inside as Aidos tried to dip his head and get to the midsection. Aidos just outgunned in size, athleticism right now. Aidos for the first time, not marching in, has to take a breather and stay on the outside, looking a little weary. He's taking some good punishment through 4 rounds. Face not looking good. Should be fighting at middleweight by the looks of this fight. Eats another hard jab. So much blood coming from Aidos now that's all over Morrell's trunks. Hard left hand down the pipe lands for David Morrell. Last 10 seconds, he sweeps kind of a left uppercut, half left hook by Morrell, and nice stuff by David Morrell, 40-36. I don't know how much more Aidos should hold up under that. Bleeding from the mouth, bleeding from the nose, and swelling around both of his cheeks now. Good stuff by David Morrell. What's my thoughts on Frank Martin versus Michelle Ali Rivera? I think we'll see. That's a really good fight, and you don't see fights like that made too often. That's like an old school boxing after dark main event, where it's 2 guys who are headed to the title picture, are taking a risk earlier than that and facing each other when they're undefeated in a real 50-50 fight. So I really like that fight. We're going to have to see if Frank Martin can be a hunter, because if he tries to box with Michelle Rivera, that fight could get away from him. Rivera, it might not be the most exciting, but Rivera has a good jab, and he has good movement, and he's long and tall at lightweight. So Martin's got to be prepared to hunt in that fight. I won't pick a winner just yet, but that's all I'll say. Frank Martin might have to get out of his comfort zone in cutting the distance and having to cut off the ring and go and be a hunter and go after him in that fight. You know, he's probably not used to a guy being more athletic than him at range, at long range. But Rivera, being longer than him with his feet and his jab, he might have to cut that distance all night and get to him. We'll see if Frank Martin's up to that. It's a 50-50 type fight. But right now, Aidos trying to dig in close, and Morrell content to let him dig in inside and set up some wicked uppercuts. Morrell can really get some beautiful leverage on his uppercuts inside, and he's comfortable on the inside right now, moving his head beautifully. His hands look a little low for being that close in range, but then he's got a good head movement, upper body movement, and knows when to pick those hands back up. Good uppercut on the inside by Aidos, right uppercut, and he's letting go of some beautiful left hook to the body by Aidos, some beautiful combinations, but Morrell seldom getting hit to the head and taking the body shots well. Morrell right now really letting Aidos tee off maybe too much with some combinations, but he's looking to set him up and trap him with some of those wicked uppercuts in close. Morrell happy to engage. Not a fleet-footed, it does have fleet foot, does have good feet, but doesn't fight like those Cubans like Rigondeaux and Lara. This is a different kind of style. Very exciting to watch and fan-friendly to watch. Wicked left uppercuts. He is just busting through the guard and busting up the face of Aidos. Those left uppercuts are freaking wicked. More left uppercuts, and this is becoming a bloody mess, Aidos' face. They're going to have to stop this soon. Hard, stiff jab to the body from Morrell. Long, and flicks it out there at long range, dictating range, setting up power shots, cuffing around the guard with the left hand. Morrell throws that left hand in a couple of different ways. He likes to loop it. He throws it down the pipe. He'll double it up down the pipe with 2 of them. But his uppercuts tonight are shining. They are wicked. Aidos is so proficient on the inside that Morrell has matched fire with fire in there, and I think it's making him a better fighter for that. Instead of just being rangy and being tall and athletic, he's fought fire with fire, and I think that's going to pay dividends in his development from this fight. Oh, another left uppercut on the inside from Morrell. Aidos looks shooken up by that. 10 seconds left in the round. He is loaded. He's throwing Shoryukens, people. This man is throwing Street Fighter 3 third strike Ken Shoryukens. Think, who knows that reference out there? My God. What a round for David Morrell. Aidos' face is a bloody mess. 5-zip through 5. He ain't making it the distance. The power punching displayed by Morrell, he's at times punching through the guard, just busting through it, getting crazy leverage and athleticism on his left uppercuts right now. his feet can be bouncing, around, and he still gets full leverage and power, kind of, like Roy Jones used to sometimes off the bounce. But, he's not Roy Jones. Let's not be blasphemous here. But this kid is a very good talent and continues to get better. And passing this test with absolute flying colors right now is David Morrell. Yeah, DeAndre, I think Morrell wants to catch him while the guy comes in. Yeah, he's for sure letting him shoot shit off. If he wanted to, he could keep it long behind the jab. But at times, he's letting him just walk into the uppercut and letting him think he's accomplishing something with that body work in close. But he's really trying to set him up for a brutal knockout. He wants that left uppercut, guys. And he's got a lot of shots in his arsenal. He could get this guy thinking left uppercut and then come around with the right hook or the right uppercut. He was landing the right uppercut early in the fight, and now he's fallen in love with the left uppercut. Great jab for David Morrell starting this 6th round. Ooh, nice pivot, turns off, sets up a left uppercut, pivoted from one side of the ring to the other off the jab and set up a beautiful left uppercut there by David Morrell. Aidos is so game and so tough and good on the inside, but just totally taking a beating tonight, man. Aidos continues to step in behind his jab. Looks to get to that body, and he's landed some good body shots. Morrell blocking the left hook. Now Aidos comes in with a lead right hand. Gets him into the corner, but Morrell, stronger guy, ties him up at will. Gets him back in the center of the ring. Shoots that up jab. Morrell dipping down and then dipping his head down and shooting a lead left hand. Getting his head off the center to set up a power hand in the back. Nice little different looks from David Morrell there. Morrell, guard up high, along the ropes. Nice inside combinations by Aidos. Left hook to the body, straight right hand down the pipe, well thrown. Yeah, he's not winning the round of the fight, but he's showing in numerous times really good combination punching on the inside. Right there, he walks in, parries the jab, but he ate a little bit of that straight left down the pipe by David Morrell. Aidos continues to come in, lots of courage, and not still sitting down on his shots, letting them rip on the inside. Ooh, Morrell rips 2 body shots. Ooh, hard right hook to the body by David Morrell. Good high guard, blocking what's coming back. Then he dips underneath, pivots, knifes the left hand of the body, jabs over the top of Aidos' lead hand. Hard jab, sets up a left uppercut on the inside. Aidos, tough, staying in phone booth range, staying right in there. Rips a combination. Nice combination by Aidos. Morrell defensively responsible, keeping his hands up, but Aidos at times showing his class in there. Oh, Morrell busting through with a sweeping left hand. He's throwing it almost like a half left hook, half left uppercut. Beautiful left hook to the body by Aidos on the inside. Good action in this fight. 2 guys that are really giving us a good number of exchanges here. I love the inside work by both fighters. Tony Weeks, the ref, knows all about that from Corrales Castillo. Almost done with the 6. Good action. Aidos not winning this round, man, but he's a tough motherfucker, man. He's coming in nonstop through that busted face, and he got to Morrell's body and landed some good combinations. That was a competitive 6th round. Still gave it to Morrell, but Aidos held his own in there. And Morrell looking a little tired in the corner. This kid, I don't know how many times, bleeding from the mouth. Some of those right hands getting in, spitting up a little blood in the corner. And a little bit of ketchup in the nose from the cotton swabs, too. So, like I said, Aidos was tough that round. That was one, even though he lost that round, that was probably his best round. Let's see. We'll call it a uppercut, right? That kind of sweeping left hand he's thrown a couple times, right, Weedy? Throws it, almost sweeps it around like a hook in an uppercut. Let's see. The well enough alone. Who won? Is the fight over? Fight's not over, but Morrell is definitely on his way to a win. But Aidos ain't going down, laying down, man. He is as game as can be. And I've loved his inside combinations. Once he gets into close range, cuts the distance against this tall, athletic kid, he goes to work. And but Morrell, impressively enough, despite this guy being in the wheelhouse, in the range he wants to be, shorter frame, Morrell has fought very well on the inside and has absolutely busted his face up when he just sits down on the inside and lets it rip. Showtime has it 5-1 for Morrell. I got it the clean sweep still, 6-zip. But I'm okay if you maybe found a round in there for Aidos. Aidos is off to a good start in the 7th. Morrell hasn't been to deep waters in his career yet, and he hasn't let go of his hands to start the 7th. Maybe needs a breather here, having to get to the second half of this fight. Aidos, pretty relentless in first minute, got into the body well, as he has all night long. Maybe that can finally start to pay off in the second half of the fight. Good left hook to the body by Aidos. Good straight right hand through the center, and he digs to the body in combination. Morrell looking a little fatigued here in round 7. He's in the corner. Has to take a left hook to the body after slipping the straight right down the pipe. Now Morrell backing up off the ropes. Hands low, though. And that's weird. He looks off to the side. Takes his eyes off his opponent for a moment there. So Morrell meeting some adversity. Losing the 7th round right now. Halfway through it. Looking tired. He might need this round to take a breather. Huge credit to Aidos. Being rough in there. Leaning his head on the chin of Morrell in the clinch. Been relentless to the body. Maybe that body work is now paying off as the young kids got to go in the second half now. Morrell looking at the ref for some of these roughhouse tactics. It's not a good sign as the heat's getting turned up. Good jab by Morrell now to establish some long range. Morrell using his legs. Nice right uppercut on the inside from Morrell, and he steps back out. Morrell using his boxing shoes a little bit more this round, not staying inside. Oh, what a left uppercut by David Morrell. Oof. Aidos stepped into that one, didn't see it. Now Morrell takes his eyes off of him. Taking his eyes off of him and jabbing him at the same time. Some taunting, some showboating from David Morrell. But he might be back in control of things after that left uppercut about 15 seconds ago. Good jab for David Morrell. Morrell getting that pep back in his step. Re-seizing control. Nice right hook to the body by David Morrell. Aidos letting this round get away from him after a good first half. Jab to the body by David Morrell with conviction there. Nice combination by David Morrell to finish up the 7th. Morrell might have done enough there in that last minute to take that round away from Aidos. Aidos was on his way to definitely winning the 7th, but it might have got away from him. Trainer's taking a good look at Aidos. Facial tissue not holding up too well. And he's weary in there, taking a lot of punishment. Those uppercuts by Morrell, though, for real, DeAndre. Yeah, Morrell may have got a second win there. Yeah, you saw him taking the breather in the first minute and a half, and now you see him in the corner. Looks like he's re-steadied himself and getting control of his breathing again. You know, it's going to happen in these 12-round fights. You're going to have to get your second and third wins. And Morrell found his after having that foot off the gas the first minute and a half, 2 minutes there. Let's see. Morrell needs rounds, so it's all right. Exactly. Great point, Pat G. Great point. He needs these rounds. And I've loved his willingness to stay in there and not just want to be rangy and keep it long against the shorter guy coming in. And not only has it been fun to watch, but I think it's been good for his development. He knows how to hold his own on the inside there. Good body work by Aidos to start this round, though. Straight right hand, knifes right to the body, and he gets a left hand behind it. Aidos staying on top of Morrell. He's been all heart tonight. Aidos straight right through the center. Morrell moves his head off the line, comes back with 2 left crosses down the center, but Aidos gets out of the way of it. And Aidos is going to be a tough guy to beat at 160 if he can get back down to that weight after this fight. If he were fighting Golovkin tonight, it'd be even money. Oh, left hand down the middle for David Morrell. Pops up Aidos' head. 1-2 for Morrell. Aidos stepping out of range. Aidos taking a breather here himself, not just marching forward like he has most of the fight. Good jab on the outside by Morrell. Aidos can't fight on the outside with Morrell. He's got to cut the distance, but it's a big ask to keep walking through the fire 3 minutes of every round. He's taking a breather here. Now back on the front foot is Aidos, looking to cut that distance again. Aidos sometimes coming in, kind of raging bull, Jake LaMotta style, hunching to the right, left hand low. Other times he picks it up. Morrell done a good job, authoritative jab on the outside. Not going to be as easy to do that against a longer fighter, but he does have an authoritative, good jab and a creative offense that he uses different little pivots sometimes with those uppercuts, shifts his feet off to the side. You know, Lomachenko, guys like that, when Bam Rodriguez, they'll do that. Well, Morrell can do that to a degree at 168 pounds, so it's impressive. Morrell showing good defense there along the ropes. Ooh, but then he eats a straight right hand by Aidos. Morrell keeping it long, keeping it rangy here. Right hand by his waist. Nice authoritative up jab there. Left hand down at his chest, right hand at his waist. Feels comfortable doing that. Trusts his athletic gifts. Quick feet, able to carry him to different parts of the ring at will. Get from point A to point B pretty quickly. Big strides. Hard right hook to the body. 13 seconds left in the round. Oof. That was a beautiful right hook to the body for David Morrell. Slower pace there in the 8th. Morrell using his feet, using his long arms more that round instead of banging on the inside. Aidos not as willing to come forward that round. Needed to take a breather himself and has eaten a lot of hard shots. 8-0 David Morrell. Acing his test so far. Yeah, DeAndre, great point. Morrell needs to stay focused on his Roy Jones out there. And we mentioned Roy earlier in the fight, right? We don't just see things. But yeah, with the no-look Roy Jones jab, right? The up jab with the no-look like Roy used to do, where it would almost always fall short too. But it was a booby trap. The jab would fall short, and then he'd do some crazy athletic move where he'd punch and then dip down like the rooster and all that. You know, it was just, yeah. But yeah, keep things tight, DeAndre. I hear you. Antonio Young says Morrell's speed and power has been down since round 3. Fair observation, Antonio. I know what you mean. He has been putting in three consistent minutes of each round. And, you know, kind of like Gamboa back in the day, right? Blistering the first 3 or 4. And then because of his athletic talent and everything, he remained in control and kept banking rounds after 3 or 4. But what you're talking about, the power and speed, not quite the same. But I've seen him still sit down. I mean, in some of those middle rounds, remember we were going crazy the way he was winging those left uppercuts. So I haven't seen him just lose steam out of his shots after 3 or 4 rounds. That was Gilberto Ramirez today against Bivol. He lost steam in his punches after 3 or 4 rounds. Oh, beautiful left uppercut. See the steam on these shots by David Morrell on the inside here in round 9? Beautiful left uppercut. Plenty of oomph on those uppercuts still from David Morrell. Good jab by Morrell. Another good jab by Morrell out of that high guard. Nice right hook to the body for David Morrell. Spins around in the clinch. Shows off to the crowd a little bit. Now they're back in the center of the ring. Straight right blocked for David Morrell through the center. Good shot by Aidos. Got in a little bit, actually, through the center. Right hook to the body, but Morrell actually got countered there by 2 inside shots to the head by Aidos, but then he comes back with a left uppercut on the inside. Even when Morrell gets caught on the inside, he's just got the more firepower to return back. A little bit of clowning from Morrell you don't want to see, though, in these rounds, and that could be a little bit of lack of focus, like my man DeAndre earlier in the chat pointed out. No, now Morrell, nice move. He actually was forced to switch orthodox for a second. It landed a nice jab, and then he smiled and went back to southpaw. Good defense along the ropes by Morrell there. A minute left in the round. Morrell covering up and then slipping the head shots, keeping the elbows in tight for the body shots. Morrell, though, not fighting 3 minutes of every round quite. Not fighting in spurts either. Nice athletic move there, pivoting around, and setting up a nice double left hand, and then finishing up with the right hook there for David Morrell. Morrell along the ropes, blocking the right hand, shoulder rolling a little bit. Now he's sitting down on the ropes. Too much clowning by David Morrell here. Can't expect to do that at the top level. Nice 1-2, drops, or not drops, but almost drops Yerbos into the ropes. Ref calls it no knockdown. Aidos taking some hard shots to finish the 9th round that knocked him hard into the ropes. Ropes may have even kept him up a little bit there, but it's 9-0 David Morrell. Aidos has been a tough customer in there, has really thrown some good combinations on the inside, but he hasn't won a round on my card. He's taking a lot of punishment. Let me see. Weedy Gonzalez can't showboat against guys like Planter Benavidez. Yeah, Sean, I've seen all his fights. He's occasionally lost focus in other bouts, too. Oscar Bonavena didn't know Drake Bell followed boxing. But yeah, so I believe it, and he's got to watch out for that at the top level. Gamboa struggled with that too. Gamboa, after 3-4, and it's a bluff. It's a bluff a little bit when they start doing that, because they start doing that as the fight wears on, which start doing it as they get a little fatigued, and so it's like they're playing it off a little bit, because instead of working, they don't got the conditioning to keep working, so they boom, boom, and then they pose, and then they do something, and they do a look at the crowd, or it's not good. It's a bluff, You weren't doing that when you were ripping in the first 3 or 4 rounds. Just keep ripping. So I hear you, DeAndre. Good right hooks to the body by David Morrell. Showtime has him winning 8 out of 9. I got him winning all 9. Another right hook to the body by Morrell. Morrell staying defensively alert, moving his head after landing that right hook to the body. Good jab by David Morrell. Stepped in with it. Left cross was there. Didn't take it. Now Morrell on the ropes. Aidos, nice double right uppercut. Right uppercut to the body and then right uppercut up top. Good shots landing on Morrell there. Oh, but left uppercut off the ropes by David Morrell. Again, whenever he does get hit, he returns with twice as heavy firepower, being the natural 68-pounder. But not a concussive knockout puncher is David Morrell. A middleweight in Aidos has held up to his best punches time after time, round after round, and we're here in the 10th, and it's a middleweight still standing up, having taken all his best uppercuts and hardest power shots. So Morrell, definitely not a concussive one-punch knockout guy, but definitely a good, very good pop in both hands. Good uppercuts by Aidos on the inside here. Center of the ring, guys staying in the phone booth. Great action. Morrell coming back, sweeping around the guard with hooks, and then finishing with the left uppercut. Another left uppercut lifts up Aidos' head. That one buzzed him. Aidos looks a little hurt from that one. Another left uppercut from Morrell. Right hand, sweeping the left hook. Aidos returning fire, but he's hurt. Crowd in Minneapolis wants a stoppage. Minute left in the 10th round. Aidos holding on, hurt. Morrell missing a right hook and complaining at the ref, and then Aidos does the Ali shuffle, and Morrell gives a little golf clap. Again, like that, a little too much clown in there. Finish up shop. Get him out of there, Morrell. Come on. That's what we want to see. You put on a great performance. Put the finishing touches on it now. Nice jab into the left uppercut, but Aidos is game. He returned fire. Aidos still moving his head on the inside and clinches. 30 seconds left. Man, this guy is taking David Morrell's best. Jab. Sets up a sweeping left hand, and Aidos eats it and returns fire with the left hook. 20 seconds left in the 10th. Morrell down the pipe with a straight left. Puts his hands down at the side, almost out of frustration that Aidos backed him way out of range. But then Aidos steps right back in and shoe shines to the body. Lands a left hook as he eats a straight left hand. Great action. That's it for round 10. Aidos, at this point, just looks like he wants to make that distance. He is taking a lot of shots. His face is busted up. But he's landed some good combinations, too, in this fight. Just hasn't been done enough to actually win the round. His nose is swelling, very badly swollen. Both cheeks swollen. Blood coming from the nose and the mouth. He's a warrior. Tony Weeks taking a hard look at him. Let's take a look at the replay here. Here on the replay, Morrell shoving off with that forearm and hitting him with the right hand after shoving him off with his left forearm, and then finishing off with combinations with Aidos forced to cover along the ropes. Thomas believes Aidos is winning. Gotcha, Thomas. Yeah, the Kazakh does have a hell of a chin. You're right. And he comes out in round 11, letting his hands go, cutting the distance, letting go of his hands in combination, slipping some left uppercuts, but he eats a cuffing left hand on the inside, makes him back out of range, does Aidos. But Aidos, big balls on this guy, man. Couple of jabs to the body by Morrell, shoots the right hook, doesn't quite get it into the body there. Short with a right hook to the body again. Aidos measuring with his lead hand. Aidos measuring with that lead hand, couple of feints. Morrell jabs him back out of distance. But Aidos coming in again with those feints. Aidos maybe trying to, shoots a straight right hand off of that, but can't land it. Can't find the mark there. And now Morrell just touching with the left hand down the pipe. Picks up Aidos' head with that. 2 minutes left in the 11th. Nice exchange there. Good defense on the inside by both guys. Both Aidos letting go of an uppercut. Morrell letting go of a hook, but they both caught the bomb on the opposite hand. Both guys really fighting well on the inside all night long, giving us a good show on the inside. Now David pushing Aidos back into the ropes. Aidos tries to hook his way off the ropes, spin off. They clinch center ring halfway through the round. Will Weeks let Aidos finish the fight? If Morrell doesn't put together a barrage of shots, and as long as Aidos keeps returning fire like he does, it looks like he will. Good right hook by Morrell after Aidos gets his hands up to block the straight left cross down the pipe, but he couldn't get his hands up for the right hook. Aidos keeping that left hand too low, and he eats a straight left hand down the pipe on the ropes, but he turns Morrell, tries to come back with his right hand, but it gets smothered. Now they're in the center of the ring, minute left in the 11th. Aidos backing out, Morrell staying on top of him. Nice right hook to the body by Morrell. Hard right uppercut by David Morrell off that right hook to the body to set it up. Sometimes that first shot doesn't need to land. It just needs to move the guy into the right place for this next shot, and Morrell has done that so beautifully with the double right hook, right uppercut. First throwing to the body and setting it up to the head. Left uppercut lifts Aidos' head up again. Aidos is hurt. Weeks might look to stop this. 25 seconds left. Aidos still in this thing. Good footwork by Morrell to finish the round. 10 seconds left. Morrell not following up that left uppercut. Now Morrell doing the old Floyd Mayweather, Caleb Plant, when you move your back along the ropes to make a miss clean, you take a look back at the ropes like, where was he throwing that punch at? So 11-zip for David Morrell. Don't know if he'll get the stoppage here in the 12th, but some refs would have stopped it already. But Weeks is going to let Aidos get the full distance here. Jarrell or Uzcategui for Morrell would be cool. Yeah, that works. That's a good fight. Uzcategui might be a decent fight for him next. But this kid isn't too far off. It's only a couple fights away from the big fights. He had a huge amateur career. He's being moved along pretty quickly here. He's already technically an interim world champion, WBA super middleweight champ. So he's not too far away from fighting a Benavidez Plant winner. All right, here we go. Final round. We'll see if Morrell can get him out of there. But I don't know about that. Aidos has been so game and so tough. He's come this far. Good straight right hand to the body. Weeks calls that one borderline. Morrell didn't like it. Oh, down goes! Down goes Aidos. Right hook, and then the straight left hand. The first shot made him back up in a straight line, and Morrell planted him with a straight left hand. Finally, Aidos goes down. Let's see if Morrell has a combination, has a finish in him to finish the job. Aidos still strong on his feet. Eats a left uppercut, fires back, eats a hard right hook to the body. Another right hook to the body for Morrell, but Aidos fires back. Aidos clinching now. Little over 2 minutes left in the round. He's weary, but still tough in game. 2 minutes left. Now Morrell backing out of range and takes a look at the crowd. Now he plays to the crowd, puts his left hand in the air. Would like to see him move in with the finish here. Nice left uppercut lands. He tries to move in. Aidos backs out of range and clinches him again. Morrell, Aidos along the ropes. Aidos slipping, moving his way out of there. Finds his way off the ropes again. Center of the ring. Morrell staying on top of him. Aidos throws a right hand and then clinches. Morrell, frustrated, looks at Weeks to break up the clinch. Halfway through the final round now. Aidos down by a straight left hand early in this round. Right uppercut just off the mark on the inside for Morrell. Now Morrell lands a jab. Aidos keeping his head outside of the ring as Weeks has to reel him back in and resume the action. Little over a minute left. Not sure if Morrell can get him out of there. Good jab lands for Morrell. Straight left hand lands for Morrell that knocks Aidos' head up, but he's still in there and he clinches. 55 seconds left. Determined to see the final, clinching for dear life, and Tony Weeks calls timeout. He's going to call the point for that clinch. Yep, 1 point deducted. Tony Weeks, his shirt is a bloody mess from the battered face of Aidos Yerbossynully. Oh, 1-2 lands for Morrell. Aidos hurdle on the ropes, looks to clinch again. Right hook! And that's it! That's it! What a right hook! Aidos tried to lunge in for the clinch, and Morrell was just short with the straight left hand, whips the right hook back with murderous intention, and Aidos is badly out. Even as Weeks gets him back to his feet, now David Morrell is helping Aidos back to his corner. He took too much punishment tonight. That fight probably should have been stopped a round or two ago. What a right hook knockout with less than 30 seconds left for David Morrell. One of the prettiest knockouts of the year. Again, Morrell twice that round fell short with the right. He fell short with the right hook. I was talking about how sometimes that first punch doesn't need to land. It just needs to angle the guy in the right position to be hit with the second shot. He did that beautifully on both knockdowns. First knockdown, making Aidos back up in a straight line, missing with the right hook, but then backed him in the straight line right into a straight left hand that knocked him down. And then a reverse the second time, missing with the straight left down the pipe, but he moved him into the direction to be hit with the right hook, and that was all she wrote. Beautiful knockout by David Morrell to cap a dominant performance. That was something else. Finish him, for fuck's sake, says Nasir Hamed. Yeah, that was some Mortal Kombat fatality. Finish him. He was out, and he finished him. That was great. Brain damage, unfortunately, says Will Rang. Yeah, I agree. He didn't need to be taking those punches in that last round. That fight could have very well been stopped a round or two. Final punch stats. Good defense by Morrell, too, tonight. Only 15% connect percentage for Aidos, 82 out of 535 at just 15%. Morrell landing at almost 40%, 237 out of 607. So, although Aidos was more accurate with power shots at 24% than he was at 15% overall. But, yeah. That's a weird angle he hit him with those punches, says Weedy. And that's what I meant earlier by he's not as sharp down the pipe with the fundamentals as a Dimitri Bivol, but he's more creative offensively and spontaneous than a guy like Bivol. He could have you back and straight up and then hit that right hook off a crazy angle when his feet aren't even set. So, Morrell's a big player. Didn't like, at times, the focus lapses, the looking at the crowd, the no-look jabs, the complaining to the referee. But despite him having those moments, he was in complete control the whole fight. Showed athleticism, defense, power. So he's a problem. He brings a lot to the table as a package as 168 pounds. There's no question about that. Beautiful right hook by David Morrell to finish it. What a shot. What a shot. What a shot. Tough night for Aidos, who is as game as can be, fought really well on the inside. Never won a round on my card, but had a number of rounds where he got off with some very proficient combination punching in the phone booth range. Oh, that right hook, you didn't even see it coming. Completely just what a knockout for David Morrell. Hope you guys enjoyed the round by round. You got it, Nasir. No countdown. That was waved off immediately. Patrick. Pat G noting that he dropped him with a left and finished him with a right. Got pop in both hands. Indeed he does. He does have pop in both hands. And uppercuts in both hands. Good right hook. Got the left cross. Doesn't throw it perfectly down the pipe like a Bivol. But he does have the left cross. Loops it. Good jab. Good. Just very, very good fighter. Very athletic. Bright future for him. Pat G, he's one of Al Heyman's biggest treasures in the stable. I agree. Heyman hasn't been able recently to sign the young talent that Top Rank has. Top Rank signing all the Olympians, but this is one of his diamonds, his young diamonds, David Morrell for sure. So Morrell's still undefeated. I give him the full A+. I think Aidos did him a great service tonight with his toughness by extending him and forcing him to go rounds. I think most fighters wouldn't have been able to hold up under that kind of punishment, especially middleweights moving up. But Aidos did him a great service for his development by being relentless and so game and so proficient on the inside. It allowed David Morrell to really actually get some valuable experience in there tonight. So 2 great knockouts I got to catch. Brian Mendoza with a great knockout in that co-main event, and now David Morrell did his thing. Great knockout for David Morrell. That was fun to watch. That was a fun performance by him. Really good stuff. That about does it. I'll be back tomorrow morning with the Z-Cap to touch on Zurdo and Bivol, Plant and Benavidez apparently becoming official, the fallout of Crawford and Spence, and more, and more. So, and then previewing the fights I got to cover in Vegas. I'll be ringside for the Janabek fight where Sinisa makes her Top Rank debut. I'll be in the building in Vegas, so you guys keep it locked in. But anything you want to know about chat before we get out of here? And I hope I see everyone in the chat tomorrow morning, unless you guys aren't waking up early, unless you're gonna get your party on tonight. Otherwise, I'll catch you next Saturday at the Janabek fight. But I will be live tomorrow with a recap of everything, a Z-cap of everything, because my last name is Zittel, It's not all about you, Patrick. What happened to Pat? Wait a minute, Pat. Let's answer Pat's problems. Pat's a good guy. Dynamo. Woe Rang says great day of fights. Boots most talented in boxing alongside Shakur. I agree that Boots is the most physically gifted fighter in the game today. I would agree with that. Shakur, I wouldn't agree with that. Shakur is definitely gifted, great talent, but I'm not convinced that Shakur is more athletic than Devin Haney in that same division. That's an argument to be had. But Boots is that Roy Jones-esque kind of talent for sure. His talent is insane. So I agree. Boots is the most naturally gifted guy in the game that I could think of right now. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate you, brother. Cash for Cat getting a Better BF shout out. Better BF is the beast. Philly Zoe. Morrell is a phenomenal athlete, but he's still green to me. I agree. And that's to be expected with still less than 10 pro fights. I agree. But he's not just an athlete. He shows some skill in there, too. He's got a nice, authoritative, long jab, good footwork to set up different looks. But I get you. A lot of that is kind of his gifts working for him and his talent. So I agree. He's still, if he shores up the fundamentals, he could be, pretty unstoppable at this weight. So we'll see him going forward. But I got to give him the A for tonight. He won every round, highlight reel knockout to finish it, got his rounds in. I think he got better as an inside fighter tonight, probably. So now they got to put him in there with a guy. I think they got to put him in there with a boxer now. Put him in there with a guy who's going to force him to fight at long range and work behind his jab. Because tonight he showed me he could bang on the inside. I know he's a smaller guy though, but let's see him have to deal with a guy who makes him put his boxing IQ on at long range. That'd probably be good for his development next. But thank you, the machine Marte. Thank you, brother, for joining. Where would I rank Johnny Beck's talent? 7 to 8. Like a 7.5-ish. I know he's got some bounce in his legs, some athlete. He's long. 7.5, maybe 8. 7.5, I would say. He's not a plotter. He's not flat-footed. He's got some life in his legs, some solid hand speed, especially. But doesn't do enough work with his lead hand. Everything, he disguises it well and sets it up well, but it's all about his backhand. You know, that's all Janibek's about. But he's got good speed, good athlete, not a great athlete by any means, but yeah, he's not some slow, stiff European by any means. Morrell said he wanted to fight Benavidez, but Benavidez got out of it. Well, no, it's just that fight doesn't make sense for David right now. David's beyond that. He wants big fights with a Caleb Plant, with a Canelo. So Caleb Plant makes a lot more sense for David because if Benavidez were to knock off Morrell right now, Morrell's so green, he wouldn't really get the credit for it at this juncture. So better to let Morrell continue to really earn his way into the top 5 and then make that fight. And meanwhile, he's got that bad blood and a great fight with Caleb Plant that we're finally going to get, it sounds like. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow. Philly Zoe, yep. Philly Zoe, I like what you have to say in the chat, man. Thanks for being in tonight. If you said he's unstoppable, why didn't he want to? I didn't say he's unstoppable. David Morrell's not unstoppable. He's still got development to do. He still had under 10 pro fights. I'm saying if he were to ever get his fundamentals down to the level of a Dimitri Bivol to go along with his athletic talent and his creativity in there, he could be unstoppable at 168. Could be. But that's not the case right now. That's not the guy we're talking about. So he's still got development to go. Where's Morrell going to stay? 60, 60? Oh, 68. He's a 68. He's definitely too big for 60. So, Rosado, Pat G, that is a good opponent. If Rosado, if you could bring him, I know his last few fights have been on the zone. It's not a good fight in terms of action. He might actually make... and Rosado looked a little washed his last fight, too, so I'm not even sure Rosado's up to the task anymore of being that tricky veteran that really is going to extend him 12 and make him think. But normally, that would have been a good suggestion. I don't know if it is anymore. But, yeah, Berlanga's in trouble. But thank you, guys. I agree, DeAndre, Plant Benavidez, super fight at that weight. But thank you, guys. I hope to see you guys in the chat tomorrow. I'll be live with the Z-Cap for the weekend. And that's about it, man. Thank you, everyone. Morrell did his thing. Bivol definitely did his thing. He's the fighter of the year as far as I'm concerned. So appreciate you, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Keep it locked in on Fight Hype.